Are on.
Alright, so for my review, I chose to do RWBY, which is also something that's fairly popular right now. It's an online animated show by Monty Oum. He's done really popular stuff, Dead Fantasy, which is an action-based, basically it's just an action-based 3D fighting video, or series of videos with characters from Final Fantasy and Dead or Alive, and then it goes into just Namco characters and Tecmo. But this show, it has an actual story to it. It's been on for probably 3 or 4 months now, and it's actually a really good show. It gets a lot of buzz. So if you're going to Youmacon, I guarantee you'll see at least one person cosplaying from this show. But to start off, the characters, RWBY is comprised of the first letter from each of these characters. The main character being Ruby Rose. The second character, W, would be Weiss Schnee. The third is Blake Belladonna, and then last is Yang. I think her last name is like Yang Lang Shang or something like that. But RWBY, of course, being the main character, the team ends up forming her name, and she's actually the youngest character in this series because she meets one of the other characters who's a professor, and he actually puts her into this school known as Beacon, which is where people train to become either a hunter or a huntress, which is where people fight demons and stuff. And this is what she wants to do, and so she ends up getting put in this school fairly early on, and so she has to basically deal with a lot of different things. Being the youngest person at this school full of really strong people and learning to eventually lead a team of people, being these other three characters. The girl Weiss Schnee, she's an heiress to a company which creates the product known as dust in this universe, which actually allows her to manipulate elements, which she does with her specific weapon. She starts off kind of mean. She's really just mean. That's all she is. She's a stuck-up girl because she just grew up in that really rich, fancy lifestyle. So she doesn't really get the struggles that other people have, and she has to deal with not always being number one and stuff like that. But she does come around, and I think she's starting to become a lot nicer in the last couple episodes she has, and she does provide certain comedy with a specific other character. The girl Blake, we really don't have any information on her outside of her trailer. She knows a guy who's kind of bad but not, and that's really all I can say. Is she barely talks, and she's like the ninja character, so she's silent. She reads books. That's about the most information we've really gotten out of her the entire series. And then the last character, Yang, is actually RWBY's older sister, and she's like the really cool character out of the group, and she's like the fighter character and stuff. And she always has some really cool moment or something that's just really funny from her, and she always provides just some random line that's always really well done. But each character is obviously very unique. They hold a certain place in the group, and each character has their own specific weapon. And as you can see, RWBY has the scythe, which is also a sniper rifle, so that changes how she fights in certain situations. Weiss has her sword, which manipulates elements so she can shoot fire. She also has sort of they're called glyphs, so she can sort of capture people and do deflections and things like that. But we haven't got much of an explanation. Blake has two katanas that can separate and then form into one giant one, and then the smaller one can also form into a small gun that she can throw and whip around. And then Yang has gauntlets that also double as shotguns pretty much. And she has some sort of Super Saiyan type rage mode that happens when people clip her hair. But it's always really cool, and it's really funny whenever that happens. And so Team Juniper is this group of secondary characters led by this guy right here in the center, Jean. He's the comic relief of the entire series. There's not an episode where he's not funny in some way or not doing something that's just memorable. His teammates, these two right here, Nora, she's really hilarious, but she barely gets any screen time, and Ren has gotten even less than her. But we can look forward to more from them in the future since it's a brand new series. But they make a really good team, and they're childhood friends, so they really get along and always have a really good dialogue where he's the calm guy and she's really over the top. And then the girl on the far right is Pyrrha, and she's basically the love interest for Jean, even though he has no idea, but she's the strongest person or one of the strongest people at Beacon, and she's really powerful, and she's always trying to help Jean because he's always fumbling or just being dumb and for some random reason. But they make a great secondary team, and with this show only having about 10 to 12 main characters, it's really well done. So there is a good focus on who they are as separate characters. And then we have the two teachers. The guy on the left is Dr. Ozpin, and we don't know much about him outside of one specific line where he says like he's made a bunch of mistakes, and so there's not much on him. But he seems like he's a powerful guy. He is like the dean of the school, so he's obviously a really high-ranked guy, and so he has a lot of power. We just don't get to see that. And the woman on the right is Glenda Goodwitch, and we actually see her fight in the premiere episode. And other than that, she's just like the second in command of the school. So neither of them have really gotten too much, but they do have their specific moments. And it's a really good series that overall I think you guys should check out. And that's pretty much it for that. There are also like creatures and stuff, but once again, there's not too much knowledge on anything in the series as far as the world goes. But it's definitely a great series that you'd love for, if not the action, then the comedy, and if not the comedy, then definitely the action. And that's it.
Oh.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it.
Shameless plug-in. Shameless plug-in.
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay.